hand over his face, wiping away a drop of blood. Then he looked at his bloody finger in silence, and Lu Chang was going over all the moments with his teacher in his head. At that moment, a sword was stuck in his chest. Trying to wrench his sword away, Commander Liang told the guy to let go, but the guy said no and continued to clutch the blade. Coughing up blood, the guy said he wouldn't let it hurt him. The kid yelled that the guy was his teacher, and Zhang looked at the guy, shouting his name. Then he told him in a murderous voice to die now. He looked at the man with a look full of rage. A pillar of energy rained down on the man and a book formed over it. Covering his face from the bright light, the commander saw the book. In the next instant, that one descended upon him with incredible force. The prince and princess fell to the ground in shock. Then the prince stood up and begged back, yelling for them to run away. Zhang asked furiously they would run away. Directing a book attack in their direction, he told them to die. The shockwave separated the princess and the prince. Lin Lun shouted to his highness to wait for her. But when the prince turned around, telling her to be quicker, the girl was met with an attack. The man only sat shocked on the ground, looking at the remaining moat in front of him. The blonde man, disbelieving, asked that one was dead. But then a servant with a bird appeared behind him and told his highness to rather lock up. But Zhang Huang fiercely told him not to even think of running away, and then added that they should all die. But the next moment the guy fell to the ground unconscious. In the dream, Zhang saw all the moments with Lu Chun. Opening his eyes slightly, he saw his students in front of him. But then he opened his eyes, shouting out Lu Chun's name. As he walked up, he saw a guy who was lying on Mo Yu's lap. Rushing over to him, Zhang asked how he was. Let him wake up and answer him. Beginning to clamp his wound, Zhang said that everything would be fine. He would not let anyone else hurt him. The true key of the heavenly path should heal his wounds. Everything would be fine. But feeling sadder, Zhang said that he was the one who failed to protect him. Let him wake up. He would definitely make things right. The guy thought about how everything had happened too fast. There was nothing he could do. He knew that nothing good would come out of this. But who would have thought that a disciple would decide to sacrifice himself for him? Mo Yu turned to him. Seeing that the man did not answer her, the princess shouted to Zhang Huan to pull himself together. He needs to calm down. He is unrivaled when it comes to medicine, so he will be fine. The boy replied that he knew what to do. He thought about the fact that he not only had knowledge of medicine, he also had a library of the heavenly way. Everything works according to the laws of heaven and earth. Before one died, there must be a way out. Then he closed his eyes, realizing what to do. Zhang said he could be saved. First the veins and arteries, then the internal organs. Zhang began to treat the boy. Mo Yu thought about the one only relying on true key to heal. Is it really the true key of the third rank? Mo Yu thought about how the true key of the third order was incredibly pure. It could heal wounds and clear meridians. She had heard legends of something like this, but never thought she would witness it. How powerful was Teacher Yang to be able to teach him such a technique to purify true ki? No wonder Grandmaster Su and Lin were so interested in him. Meanwhile, Zhang Huang was thinking about what was good. All the meridians had been cleared. When he finished, Zhao Yao asked him how he was. Zhang replied that he should be fine, but he is unconscious right now. He can't say when he will wake up. Mo Yu said that if they don't know what can be done, then maybe Grandmaster Yang will have ideas. And Zhang thought about the fact that he was the one who was Grandmaster Yang. So if he didn't know what to do, neither did he. Mo Yu said that she had heard that Grandmasters of the 7th rank and above were capable of influencing a person's behavior and consciousness, as well as finding Duma. Lu Chang simply fell into a deep sleep. If they had someone of that rank, he would be able to invade his mind and make him wake up. Holding the guy's hand, Zhang asked, could one invade the consciousness and find the soul? He thought about the fact that his consciousness was asleep right now. If someone could reach it, perhaps it would work. The princess added that she had only heard it from others, but the higher the rank of the Grandmaster, the more methods he would have. If one couldn't do it, it didn't mean that someone of a higher rank couldn't do it as well. Zhang Huang grimly said that he would find a top-ranked Grandmaster, however. Before that, he said furiously that he would avenge him. Mo Yu asked fearfully, he will take revenge? Of course they should do it, but he knows about Xuanyuan, right? The girl told him that the one he wants to take revenge on is Crown Prince Xuanyuan. The king is old and sick, so he can take the throne at any time. That means he can call on all the kingdom's forces. Not to mention the powers that the titled kingdom possesses. They have an incredible number of masters. He definitely can't handle them alone. Unless, of course, he possesses a power like Grandmaster Su. But the girl added that even with that strength, he would have to face many obstacles if he wanted to kill a figure as powerful as the prince. Problems could not be avoided. She also added that if he really wanted to challenge Xuanyuan, he should at least be a 9th-ranked middle-stage master. Therefore, her opinion is that there are 3 months left until the Grandmaster competition. This was not the best time for it. By participating in it, he will be able to build up a great reputation. That's when he can ask for help from the Grandmaster Hall. It would be logical, convenient, and simple, and Zhang replied that he can't wait for 3 months. He believes that Lu Chang wouldn't let him wait that long either, but Mo Yu didn't stop insisting, asking how he was going to take revenge. Even if he is so eager, he should at least be a rank 9 peak master, otherwise he would just become an easy prey. Zhang stood up, saying that it was easy. He just needs to find a way to achieve it in a few days. Mo Yu asked in surprise. What is it easy? She stood up too, asking what the man really thought it was that easy, like going grocery shopping. This is the extreme rank of a martial artist after all. It's much harder to reach than the previous ones. The princess asked Zhao Yao that maybe she could enlighten her teacher, and the girl replied that the teacher was right. Why would she do that? Mo Yu countered that they were talking about the 9th rank. It can't be done in a couple of days, even if you dedicate all your time to it during these 3 months. It still won't work out. Zhao Yao replied that it took the teacher about a month to evolve to his current level. When he arrived in Wanshan, he had already broken through from the 6th rank to the peak of the 7th rank. Right now, he was already at the peak 8th rank, and it had only taken 10 days. Therefore, there was no need to worry. Mo Yu thought shockedly. What do these people think of themselves? Making a breakthrough to rank 9 in a few days. Not only are they not surprised, but they are taking it for granted. The princess added that even if he succeeds, this is the crown prince of a titled kingdom. People respect him. Going up against him would be like challenging the entire kingdom. The Hall of Grandmasters will stop him. Zhang angrily asked, isn't the Grandmaster Hall supposed to be on the Grandmaster's side? Mo Yu sighed heavily, replying that that was true, but if a titled kingdom was involved, it would be different. If a person of such status was killed, it could lead to unrest, in the worst case, even war. Many people would lose their homes and their lives. To prevent this from happening, the Grandmaster Hall will definitely stand up for the other side. Since that one is only a 2nd-ranked Grandmaster, he doesn't have that much importance. The girl seriously added that moreover, the Xuanyuan Grandmaster Hall has maintained a good relationship with the royal family for many years, so they would definitely intercede. If he hurried, he wouldn't be in trouble. Zhang asked that is there really no other way out? Mo Yu replied that there was. She said that if he wanted the Hall of Grandmasters to not just stay out of it, but to side with him, he had to get them to listen to him. Zhang asked what did she mean make them? The princess replied that this was exactly what she meant. The head of the Xuanyuan Grandmaster Hall has already reached the 3rd rank. He is already a half-transcendent mortal. Therefore, it would be quite difficult to pull this off without having the strength of a 4th-rank Grandmaster. Zhang Huang said that it would be fine if they just stayed out of it, but if they really wanted to help him, he wouldn't mind trying to do so at all. Gritting his teeth, he thought to himself, who cared if he wanted to go against a titled kingdom? Who cares even if he goes against the Grandmaster Hall? Lu Chong is willing to lay down his life for him, and he can't do that for him. The disciples asked what they were going to do. Zhang replied that they were going to Xuanyuan, in the Xuanyuan Beast Hall. Mo Yu shockingly thought about the fact that she had originally thought that the roaring rank 8 beast would have to be dealt with for a week. But who would have thought that he had forced it to make a breakthrough to rank 9 with such brutal methods? And even his students had made the breakthrough in just 3 days. Zhang told Manager Sun that he could look for a place to set up for the time being, and he had some business to attend to. As she watched them, the princess thought about how out of this world this man was. Mo Yu asked, weren't they going to Xuanyuan? Why are they staying in the Beast Hall? Zhang replied that of course it was to become stronger. The girl asked that he wanted to become stronger in the Beast Hall. He thought about how only animals could become stronger in the Hall of Beasts. He had never heard that humans could as well. Did the methods he wanted to practice really require beasts to participate? Upon approaching the gate, Hall Head Feng told Tamer Luo that this was the Xuanyuan Beast Hall. This was where the taming tournament would be held. The guy put his hands to his sides and said he knew. Let them not worry about it. He would definitely win it for them. It was Luo Tang, a rank 2 tamer. The guy then looked at the men, asking what Danti they believe. He keeps talking about this Zhang Huan. That one is a 2nd-rank master just like him. Showing his muscles, the guy added that he passed the exam the first time. So did he, but he did it even better, so they shouldn't worry. He will be the champion. And the head and tamer Luo looked at the guy awkwardly. Head Feng awkwardly replied to the guy that he didn't mean that at all. The true geniuses of the titled states had gathered for the taming tournament. There was no need to underestimate them. One should just be careful, and everything would be fine. Luo Tang confidently said that there was nothing to fear. He had studied the task of the last tournament well. He only needed to tame an initial stage 9th rank beast, right? With his strength, even though he had yet to reach rank 9, he was confident that he could do it. But Feng seriously said that the tasks of each tournament are different from each other. He also doesn't know what will happen this time. However, the reason why the tournament was postponed is because Xuanyuan had captured an extremely strong beast, but none of the professionals could handle it. Therefore, in order to prevent anything terrible from happening, they decided to summon the geniuses of this matter in advance. But then they heard the bell ringing. The head said that something was going on. Tamer Luo noticed that it rang 7 times. The elder added fearfully that it meant that someone wished to pass the 10-cell test. Luo Tang asked in surprise, "What is this?" Head Feng replied that the 10-cage trial involved taking turns taming 10 animals, the level of which would only increase. The test subject must pass from this end to that end in just 2 hours. The boy asked in surprise, how is that possible? He added that moreover, animals will attack as soon as they see a stranger. It is their nature. That's why the profession of domestication is so common, to go from one end to the other, dealing with 10 animals, in 2 hours. But Headfeng suggested that they go and have a look. Once inside, they saw that the animal trap array had been activated. Feng said that the test would start soon. Luotan said that the one who dared to do this was as if he was seeking death. Who would do such a thing? Is there any benefit in doing so? Tamer Luo replied that, of course. And the head said that the one who succeeds in passing this test will receive a drop of the blood of the spirit beast. He was shocked to think that this was even more valuable than spirit stones, so this was the reward for such an ordeal. But Luotan said that even one high-level animal is quite hard to tame, let alone 10. How is he going to do it? Headfeng said that if it was the ordinary 10 animals, it would be simple. The only problem is the last one. It's a beast at the early stage of rank 9. Luotang said that even if a rank 9 middle stage master were to challenge a beast of this level, it would be quite difficult for him. For a drop of blood from a spirit beast, would he even be willing to put his life on the line? But then they saw someone coming from the balcony. Zhang Huang entered the arena. The crowd said that he looked too young, he couldn't even be in his 20s. At such an age, reaching the peak 8th rank means that he is very talented, so why would he willingly go to his death? And Headfeng was shocked. He asked if that one was crazy. Luotan asked if he knew him. The man replied that he was the one they were talking about, Master Zhang. The guy asked with a chuckle, "Is he Zhang Huang?" They were praising him so much that he had imagined someone incredibly powerful. Who would have thought that he was just a crazy child? The guy thought about the fact that no matter how ambitious one was, one should know one's limits. Challenging 10 beasts for the sake of a drop of spirit beast blood was an incredibly foolish act, and Zhang Huang clenched his fist, thinking that before he could avenge Lu Chun he needed to become stronger. Even if he finds rank 9 techniques, with the amount of spiritual stones he has, he won't be able to peak. The only way is to obtain the blood of a spirit beast. Looking at the wolves, he thought that spirit beast blood was incredibly valuable. Even if the Hall of Beasts possessed such a resource, they would never put it up for sale. And even if they did, he would never be able to afford something like this. Frowning, he decided that if he couldn't get it by force, the only way was a test of 10. According to the entries in the book, if he succeeded, he could get the drop for free. In the next instant, he rushed at the beasts. Luotang asked, shocked that he just rushed forward. Does he really plan to win by acting straightforwardly? And Mo Yu fearfully shouted to Zhang Huan to be more careful. Luotan told the men that this guy was crazy. To placate the storm wolves, he had to offer them meat, and only then. But then Headfeng asked, "What's going on?" In front of them, 4 wolves were petting Zhang, playing with him. The crowd asked in surprise, "What are these wolves doing? Why were they all acting like pet dogs?" Luotan opened his mouth and thought about the fact that they had completely obeyed, and willing to enter into a contract. What's going on after all? Headfeng said that he just rushed at them and attacked. And then it went something like this. Tamer Luo said that was what Zhang was famous for. The head happily agreed, and then said that he didn't expect him to resort to this technique this time as well. Luotan thought about the fact that this was exactly how they talked about the eagle as well. Taming through beating. The guy clenched his teeth irritably, realizing that he had managed to do so in a matter of moments. Storm wolves are late-stage beasts of the 8th rank, characterized by incredible speed and strength. They would make excellent assistants. This guy now has the advantage. Meanwhile, Zhang glared fiercely at the beasts, telling them to get busy, no need to mess around. As he watched the wolves leave with their tails tucked, Luotang thought to himself, he's already tamed them, hasn't he? Why doesn't he want to keep them? The man with purple hair asked the other man if he had seen what he had just done. The man replied that he had only realized that he had beaten them, but he didn't understand the rest. The head of the beast hall, Si Ju Chen, said that the one was incredibly fast, so it was not surprising. If he wasn't mistaken, the one not only used the techniques of the Beastmaster, but also the Grandmaster techniques. Elder Wei Yu asked, "What are Grandmaster techniques?" The head explained that throwing himself at the 100. Storm wolves might seem insane, but in reality, the one only pressed the acupuncture points, thus breaking through the stagnation, preventing the movement of power in their bodies. It was the same as clearing meridians for a martial artist. The rank of the storm wolves didn't change, but the strength increased significantly. Helping beasts improve was not an easy thing to do. Since someone had managed to advance them significantly, of course they would want to follow that person. Wei Yu said in surprise, "This is an interesting vision. Even 3rd and 4th level grandmasters would find it difficult to do such a thing." Zizuken said that other than that he couldn't think of anything else. Even though that one is incredibly young, but he is definitely a genius among tamers. Wei Yu said that whether he was a genius or not, they would now see how he would do in the 2nd stage. In the 2nd stage, 3 tigers of his same rank would be waiting for him. Zizuken said that he was afraid. He wouldn't be able to use the same methods on an opponent of equal strength. They decided that they needed to help the guy if he failed or was in danger. It had been a long time since the Hall of Beasts had had such talent. The elder agreed with the head. The gate opened again, and Zhang saw that there were 3 tigers on the 2nd stage. After examining the beast that walked on two paws, Zhang noticed that one of them was missing an eye, the second was missing a tail, and the third was missing ears. Frowning, the boy thought to himself, is this somehow weird? Such a familiar tune. These three look pretty tough and ferocious, it seems, and wouldn't be as easy to tame as the storm wolves were. But the guy rushed forward, deciding there was no time to think about it. It had to be done quickly. Wei Yu shouted that one was simply insane. After all, the armor of these tigers is in the belly area. Zhang began to gather strength in his fist, realizing that there was an incredible defense in the abdominal area. We need to penetrate in one blow and break their will. In the next instant, he punched the tiger in the stomach, causing it to rise into the air. Everyone was shocked that the guy was able to punch her with one punch. The tiger fell to the ground and the other two were confused. Zhang smiled, telling them not to be afraid. He would just hit them once, then it would be over. Because as long as they stood on their own 2 feet, he couldn't go any further. The two tigers glanced over. In the next instant, they too fell, feigning unconsciousness. Luotan asked, "What's going on?" "Let them not tell him that they are sick." Headfeng said that one said, as long as they stood on their own too, he wouldn't be able to go any further. And afterward, those two just fell down after being scared. Luotan asked, shocked, "Is there such a thing that tigers surrender because of fear? Are they really real? I mean, they're kind of the kings of the jungle. What is their determination? Where is their dignity?" Wei Yu that the other two tigers appeared somehow. Why did they just fall down? Headzi awkwardly said that the tiger's notorious armor had been pierced, meaning that it could cost them in their lives. Therefore, no matter how reckless they are, the choice here is obvious. Elder Wei asked, "Is the guy really going to go through all 10 stages using just this technique?" Zizukan replied that if one knew about tigers, it was not that difficult to pass this stage. Oh, and their techniques had never been prescribed, only mentioned in passing. However, in any case, there was a ferocious beast of the 8th rank, the 7 Meridians brown bear, waiting for him in the 3rd stage. Catching it had cost them a great deal. The head added that this beast is quite rare and almost impossible to tame. Without having certain knowledge, he thinks he won't be able to pass this test so easily. And Wei Yu inhaled, thinking that he would not jump to conclusions. 2 bears entered the arena. They were the brown bears of the 7 Meridians. Zhang Huang looked at the beast in surprise. Think about the fact that it was Xiong Da and Xiong Er. Could it be that these two are also reborn? Characters from neighbor bears. But in the next instant, those leaped into the air. Putting their paws up in the air, they prepared to strike the guy. And the guy thought about what he was overthinking. The beast struck at the spot where the lad had just been. At the very last moment, he managed to bounce back, grabbing their paws. Zhang Huang said that no matter how strong the wild beasts were, they were still beasts. He would deal with them according to the rules of the jungle as well. Holding them, the guy began to unwind. After that, he sent one bear flying. He proceeded to spin out the other one, then also threw it upwards. In the next instant, the 2 bears collided heads, causing some of their teeth to fly out. Zhang shouted that it was time for a home run. Straightening up, Zhang said, still just as strong. Headzi couldn't say anything with his mouth open, and Wei Yu wondered if he was even human. This is no gimmick at all. He's just bullying them. Maybe when he was a kid, he was bullied by animals? He asked the head, should they go to the Animal Protection Association? Luotang asked in surprise, what kind of technique is this? Headfeng replied that he believed it was Master Zhang's unique technique. Come on, the bears lay unconscious, having made cracks in the wall. Headzi thought to himself, was that peak 8th rank master really a peak master? He wasn't sent by the neighboring kingdom's beast hall to destroy them, right? Shizukan thought about the fact that in any case, the one had already managed to pass the 3 stages. He thinks the one could be the first tamer who manages to pass the 10-cell test. And Wei Yu said that this is the last stage. A golden gibbon with fists of steel entered the ring. Luo Tang said that it was a late-stage 9th rank golden hypon after all. In terms of speed, strength, and agility, it is no different from a human. Even a late-stage 9th ranked martial artist would find it incredibly difficult to deal with him. Headfeng said fearfully he would have a hard time. The man added that it was too early to judge it. His power is beyond their comprehension. Perhaps he really can do it. The man thought about the fact that just a month ago, when he first met this Zhang, he was only a 7th rank peak master, and now he was already a rank 8 peak master. He had easily managed to kill a rank 7 bear, but right now, his opponent was incredibly strong. Even if he had some hidden methods, they couldn't know about them. Meanwhile, the gibbon looked at the already tamed beasts, then looked at the unconscious bears. Zhang Huang thought about the last one being a gibbon. Without thinking long, the beast lunged at the guy. With a smirk, Zhang said that the latter was even more impatient than him. This is even better. They will see what the beast of the last stage of this trial can do. Gibbon and the guy bumped fists. A strong shockwave spread around. Covering themselves with their hands, everyone thought about the fact that they were both on the offensive. Head Z thought about how physically strong that one was that he was able to block the golden gibbon's strike. Bouncing away from the beast, Zhang thought about how impressive it was. Who would have thought that one would be able to fight back against him with his current physical development, not inferior in the slightest? And the gibbon looked bloodthirstily at the guy, fist in hand. Raising both fists up, the gibbon lunged at the guy again. Dodging, Zhang thought there, that's not a good thing. That one is incredibly strong and not a single gap in the defense. After blocking another strike, he thought that he would have no problem defeating him, but it would be quite difficult for him to do so. The Eye of Insight wouldn't work on an opponent whose strength differed from his by 2 ranks. Therefore, he could only rely on the Heaven's Path library. Zhang frowned. When the gibbon opened its mouth, what could he see? The boy grinned, realizing the beast's weakness. Wei Yu said that the one was incredibly strong, it was true, but it wasn't easy to resist the golden gibbon. Hedzi added that he would even say impossible. Who would have thought that after such a furor in the previous stages, there would be such a problem here? What a pity. As he left, the man said to get ready to activate the array to stop the animals. But the elder told the chapter to watch. The man asked, what else is there to see? But turning around, the man shockedly asked, what is going on? In front of them, Zhang Huan and the gibbon were cheerfully hugging each other. Hedzi asked, what just happened? The elder replied that just then it was very much as if the one had whispered something with the door. And after that, the gibbon's mood and attitude immediately changed. Luotan asked, what could he have said that? To change like this in just an instant? How was it even possible? Headfeng said that he too thought it was impossible, however. They had just witnessed for themselves that he had just managed to tame storm wolves and make tigers fall backwards without any effort, right? And the guy thought about the sudden change in attitude. For a golden gibbon to just let him pass this test, it can't be, right? Is this whole thing a setup? Zhang asked his buddy with a smile, seeming to have all his problems solved now. Why don't he let him go on? The beast nodded with a smile. Did the men think that was it? Zhang thought about that, of course, as expected from the library of the Heavenly Path. Solve the problem that one had the very birth. Yes, he should not only let him pass. Mo Yu said admiringly, he passed. Approaching the glowing pentagram, Zhang thought there that even if he wanted the one to be his companion, the one would not refuse him. Touching the glow, the dome fell. The test of 10 cells was successfully passed. Zhang told Mr. C, then he passed. The head agreed with him. The guy asked excitedly, what about the spirit beast's blood? The man pulled out a small box, saying with a smile that it was all here. He wanted to personally hand it to him. Descending into the arena, the head said that all the masters and friends present had the honor of witnessing the grand passing of the 10-cell trial. The blood of a spirit beast is the reward for successfully passing the trial. It is an ancient tradition of their hall. No one would dare to change it. Since Tamer Zhang managed to do so, he will receive his reward. Opening the box, the man congratulated Master Zhang, saying that it was the blood of a spirit beast. Taking it, Zhang thought about the fact that the 2 drops he had gotten from Lin Roshan had improved his strength to 9,999 ding. Making a breakthrough to the 9th rank was still not possible. Even with this drop, he still had a long way to go and how he would reach the peak of the 9th rank. He must at least reach the peak 9th rank in order to avenge Lu Chun. Head Z turned to the audience, saying that he thought he shouldn't have to tell them how valuable it was. This once again proves that as long as they put in the effort, then nothing is impossible, so they can all take this challenge in the future and receive a drop of spirit beast blood as a reward. And Zhang asked the head with a smile. Since anyone could challenge, he thought it was no problem if he did it a second time. Head Z turned to the guy and asked what the guy said. Zhang Huang said with a smile, saying that he was saying that he wanted to take the test one more time. The head asked, what one more time? But he had just finished it after all. And the guy replied with a smile that yes, but the guy just said that anyone could challenge and get the blood of a spirit animal. He needs more, so he's willing to continue. Head Z thought about how this victory was worthless to him. If it continues like this, their hall will simply go bankrupt. Spiritual beast blood is an incredibly valuable thing. Even if it's the Xuanyuan Beast Hall, it doesn't mean that they have an endless supply of it. Zhang told him not to worry, he just needs to pass the test 20 more times. He only needs 20 more drops of spirit animal blood. He is not greedy at all. From what he heard, the head staggered. Did the man think about the fact that it's called not being greedy? Does he even know how much of her they have? He just said anyone can challenge and be rewarded, and this guy is already asking for more. But that man frowned, thinking, why did he feel like he was being backed into a corner? Was he really being set up? But if he really wanted to continue, what should he do? Looking at the guy, he thought that the blood of a spirit beast for the many years of the existence of the Beast Hall was a valuable and limited resource. If he let him do this, the guy would just leave them with nothing. Zhang added that if the latter gave his consent, he would continue. Honestly, it's incredibly exciting, but the head said he shouldn't be in such a hurry. He had just passed the trial, so he must be exhausted. Why don't he rest first? And the guy said with a smile that there was no need. He wasn't tired in the slightest. It's a kind of training for him, so the head of the gym has nothing to worry about. And Head Z irritably thought about who would even worry about him. He's worried about him ruining their beast hall. The man cleared his throat and said that they were all convinced that the one was incredibly talented, so he could continue. But if he wasn't tired, they should give the animals a break. Zhang Huang looked at the gibbon asking if it was tired, but the gibbon waved his paw at him. When the beast got to its feet, Zhang said that they were fine. Did Head Z think about the fact that he was incredibly strong, but not too savvy to realize it? After all, he had said almost directly that he didn't approve of it. What's there to not understand? Elder Wei told Master Zhang that he didn't quite understand what the head was trying to tell him. Since he had passed the trial, there was no need to do it again. He had already passed the trial, so there was no point in doing it again. And the guy replied that of course there is. For each time he could get 1 drop of spirit animal blood, that's important. Fei Yu irritatedly thought about the fact that he didn't know how to refuse him anymore. It was straightforward after all. Is he just messing with them? Zizuken said that they already knew that he could pass this test, but he should give the other beast masters a chance as well. Therefore he suggested him to leave this conversation. Zhang thought about what he had learned about the 10-cell trial from the books of the Beast Hall, which was why he had come here. He thought that by going through it 20 times, he would be able to accumulate enough spirit beast blood for the golden body of the second order heavenly path. Who would have thought that they would be against it? The guy said let it be what they want, but he really needs 19 more drops of blood. He was willing to buy them or do whatever they wanted. The men were surprised that 19 were needed. Head Z said that he could buy them. 1 drop of spirit beast blood was valued at 5 spirit stones, but since he was a tamer he would make him a special offer of 4 stones for 1. Zhang asked, what are 4 stones in 1 drop? Let them forget, he will just pass the test. Let them quickly prepare everything. But why the guy started thinking out loud. He said that since the spirit beast blood was so valuable, he only needed to pass the trial 20 times, and then he could sell it to them. A day to pass the trial 100 times, then he would receive 400 stones a day. In 1 month he would be able to accumulate a decent amount of money. The man wondered, what kind of joke is this? He just can't settle down. He was definitely sent by some other beast hall. Who had offended him so much that he had become so ruthless? The head grabbed his head, telling the guy to wait. He would give him 20 drops, but on 1 condition. The elder looked at the man in surprise, and Zhang asked, what was the condition? The head said that they had managed to capture 1 animal recently, but it was incredibly difficult to tame. If he could find a way to get it to listen to them, in addition to the promised 20, he would give it another 10 drops, no problem. Of course, if he can't do that, he can pass the 10-cell test, so be it. The head added that if he refused, he would also automatically give up all possible attempts to take the test again. Zhang said with a twinkle in his eye that he agreed. Head Z asked, surprised that he agreed. The guy said with a smile, of course. If he does that, you could say he has 40 spirit stones in his pocket. Why would he turn down something like that? The head asked. He didn't even know what animal we were talking about after all. Is he sure he agrees? Zhang asked. What does anyone care? However, could he read a couple of books before that? The head asked, what kind of books are we talking about? The boy replied that the ones in the Hall of Beasts. The head agreed, and the elder mentally asked him, and did he think it was too much? Isn't he afraid? Zizuken asked. What does he have to be afraid of? The elder said that Master Zhang made quite a fuss when he decided to take the 10-cell trial. He is afraid that the competition they still have to do is no longer of any use. The head asked what he meant. Would everyone take Master Zhang's example as a basis? If they conduct this test and someone wins, as long as he or she doesn't pass the 10-cell test, then they won't be recognized by the public. The elder replied that this was correct. The head decided that in that case, an order should be given now. The head said that whoever passes the 10-cell test will be the winner. Also, we should check which division this Master Zhang is from. If no one else manages to pass the 10-cell test, then he will automatically become the winner. The elder agreed with him. Meanwhile, in the library of the Hall of Beasts, Zhang Huang was surprised to think that there were linguistics books in the Beast Hall. Is it really a beast language? Taking one of the scrolls, he thought it looked quite ancient. One would have to use the library of the Heavenly Path to find out what it was. At the library, he learned that it was an ancient beast language that was also partially discussed in the books of the Xuanlo Mountain Range Beast Hall. Those who master it are largely self-taught and don't really spread it around. This knowledge mostly belongs to the tamers of the higher ranks. Who would have thought that something like this could be found here? Zhang then noticed that you have so many mistakes in the sounds recorded here. Are only 3 tones correct? The barrier of the other hall shook. The dragon-like beast sensed something. Breathing heavily and gripping the shelf, the guy thought, what is that language? He's impressive. He only uttered a single character, but he has exhausted all the true ki. Moreover, he feels that if it wasn't for the purest true ki of the Heavenly Path, he wouldn't be able to make a single sound despite doing everything right. He thought about the fact that there was no record of what it meant. If he really wanted to find out, he'd have to collect books like the ones scattered throughout the beast halls. He grinned, realizing that he didn't know if he could fool the beast with a couple of those sounds. If it was successful, that would be fine. If not, he would just have to find another way. If he succeeds, he'll get 20 drops of the spirit beast's blood. If not, he'll have to use brute force. When the guy came out of the library, the head asked him if he was done. He replied that yes, they could go. They approached another hall with a protective dome around it. Head Z said that the beasts were inside. He would like to caution him once again that it was not too late to give up yet. The man added that it was a beast of nightmares. Their beast hall had to sacrifice a lot to catch it. It has dragon blood in its veins. It is willful and cannot be trained. Zhang Huang asked, what is the nightmare beast? A semi-transcendent beast? The man said he's incredibly aggressive and violent. You can't just get near him. He can take a look. If he decides it's too much, he can back out. It's not worth the risk. But the man also reminded him that if he refused, he would no longer be able to participate in the 10-cell trial. Zhang replied that he was willing to take a look. In the cage slept the very dragon that was the beast of nightmares. The head said that it was him. Zhang immediately asked that he was injured. Zizukan replied that yes, but it wasn't people who did it. He would be injured in his attempts to make a breakthrough. The man added that it meant that he definitely knew the method that was supposed to help him, and that method was the knowledge of ancient spirit beasts. Therefore, if he managed to find a beastmaster who knew the ancient beast language, that beast would have to show respect and perhaps it would help tame it. Zhang asked in surprise, "What about the ancient language of the beasts?" Then said something in that language. The nightmare beast immediately raised its head and looked questioningly at the guy. After that, he just yawned. The head and the elder thought to himself, "Is this really the ancient language of the beasts? Did he really go to the library just to learn it?" He was even able to utter something, and Zhang thought about how it didn't work. He also thought about the fact that the ancient language consisted of 8 basic hieroglyphs. There shouldn't be any problems with their pronunciation, but he couldn't find the specific meanings of each of them in the book. The Library of Heaven's Path couldn't make anything out. In that case, is it worth trying another one? Zhang Huang tried another character which was very loud, and the men had to cover their ears with their hands, but the beast just kept on sleeping. Shizukan mentally asked, "Does it work or not?" Wei Yu replied that he would like to give a positive answer, but the nightmare beast showed no signs of interest, still remaining in his seat the same way. But one should give it credit. Before, it didn't move at all, but now at least it opened its eyes and sleeps in a different position. Zhang grudgingly thought about the fact that the ancient animal language was not a lullaby after all, but he decided to try the next one. Zhang said another character with a smile, but that made the beast collapse completely to the floor, snoring. Did the men think about the fact that just 3 sounds and the nightmare beast had finally fallen asleep? Headzi looked at the guy and thought about the fact that he expected him to demonstrate some incredible way of taming. But this was also unbelievable in a way. And the elder thought that they were here to tame him. But why was it necessary to sedate him? Zhang was upset at first, but then he grinned slyly, realizing that it was even better. The ancient beast language had failed, and plan B was to use brute force. He was asleep, so he wouldn't have to hit him. Then he would make him fall into a deep sleep. Zhang spoke several characters at once. The beast immediately woke up, opening its eyes. He rose to his paws and pounded the cage. Headzi thought about the fact that he was seriously injured and unable to move normally. Who would have thought that in these couple of days, he would come to his senses and be so strong? The head shouted that it was a nightmare beast. If it goes on a rampage, there would be nothing left of the Hall of Beasts. We need to activate the star deterrent array soon. The 2 men walked over to the opposite walls and grabbed round levers and channeled energy into them. A barrier appeared around the cage. The beast rose to its paws, angry. Zhang said something again in the language of the beasts, and the head shouted to him that his antics had made the beast angry. Who would have thought that he really didn't know when to stop? He told him to stop now. But then he looked at the happy beast that was smiling at Zhang. The man thought shocked. What had happened? Zizukan thought in surprise at the fact that just one sound and it became obedient. He had managed to subdue its temper. Is it really the voice of a true dragon? The man thought about the fact that it was a language that only the descendants of the ancient dragon clan possessed. Until the blood flowing in the veins of the dragon clan reached the level of a true dragon, a single word was enough for the beast to be oppressed and thus tamed. This nightmare beast was furious just a few moments ago. It had even intended to eat Master Zhang, and now it was palming towards him like a dog. He watched the beast play with the boy and thought about how he couldn't think of any way that would make him change like that, other than that legendary ancient language. The man clenched his teeth, thinking about the fact that hadn't this language disappeared along with the true dragon clan? How had it managed to do that? And more importantly, even if the true dragon himself taught this language, it was simply not possible for a human to master it. The man irritatedly thought that it wasn't about talent at all. It was because a person couldn't physically endure such a loud roar. Even a person possessing true ki of the highest ranks was not capable of something like this. This sound must go through all the meridians of the body and resonate with all the acupuncture points. Even if one were to master the higher level practices, this is impossible. The man assumed that Zhang was the reincarnation of a true dragon. Legends say that the clan of true dragons are constantly traveling. They constantly change their form, becoming either human, spirit, or monster. And no one can find out who they really are. The head listed in his mind as he beat the storm wolves and made them whimper like puppies. Then the tiger making the others feign defeat. A few words and the golden gibbon waved him goodbye like an old friend. The man gritted his teeth, deciding that he didn't know if it was really so, but he wouldn't dare to make such a suggestion. Otherwise they might all be destroyed. Meanwhile, Zhang Huang was thinking about the fact that he was about to use Heaven's Path techniques, but then he decided to try making that strange sound. Who would have thought that his behavior would change so much? If he had known that this particular sound would have such an effect, he wouldn't have even tried the others. The boy asked the beast if it obeyed. The beast nodded happily in response. Reaching out his hand to the lion, the boy drew blood from it, offering to make a contract. He was surprised that it was so easy. Head Z realized that he had finally tamed him, and Zhang told him that he had tamed it, and hinted at the 20 drops of spirit beast blood, and then added that the latter also wanted to give him a 10-drop increment. When would he be able to collect them? And the man thought about the fact that he wanted the boy to tame him for their animal hall. That is, that it became their pet and served them well in the future. As a result, it's now his beast, and he's still asking for a reward for it? Let him show some discretion. Wei Yu told Master Zhang that he tamed the nightmare beast and made a contract with it, on top of asking for a reward for it. This is a bit inappropriate. Zhang and the dragon looked at the men unhappily, and the boy asked inappropriately, but he had tamed it, hadn't he? The elder wanted to say something else, but the boy interrupted him, asking that they had said he needed to tame it to get the blood of a spirit beast, right? The head replied that yes. The man thought about what he had originally thought. No matter how talented he was only a rank 8 peak master. If even the nightmare beast didn't obey them, then he wouldn't accept him. But he couldn't even imagine that it would tame him. The man looked awkwardly at Zhang, who unhappily said that they had an agreement. He is waiting. Otherwise, he will continue to pass the 10-cell trial. But Head Z said he shouldn't. He had 30 drops of the spirit beast's blood with him. The man thought about the fact that the one had tamed him after all, so he can't do anything about it. If he let it pass the 10-cell test again, he was afraid the one might contract with all the animals they have. Taking the vials of blood in his hands, Zhang thought about how this was the main reason why he had come here. Finally, he has them. Zhang turned to the beast and said that there was no need for him to follow him. Let him just stay in the beast hall and listen to these uncles. If he agrees, Zhang will help him get rid of all his ailments and make a breakthrough towards becoming a spirit beast. The men were surprised to hear this. Zizukan asked, the one who was no longer going to blackmail them. Did he just say to let the beast serve them? Zhang grudgingly asked, who do they think he is? They had agreed that he would tame him, right? The men thought in surprise that no one would leave a beast of such rank, after it had already been tamed, and he is so generous to give it to them. They thought he was just a greedy and insatiable person who wanted to take everything from them, and it's only now that they're realizing that he's not. Head Z replied with a smile that they had misunderstood him. He is the truest genius, and would never do something like this for a minor profit. Zhang said thoughtfully that that was so, however, he had ordered him to obey them after all. Shouldn't they offer him something in return? For example, spiritual stones, elixirs to enhance true ki, medicinal materials, and the like. 1 card or 2, he thought. That would be enough. Wei Yu mentally told the head to forget what he had just said. Why don't they get rid of him right now? He's obviously here to take everything from them. As long as the nightmare beast is still caged, there's no problem if they do that. But the head said not to even think about it. This guy wasn't someone they could reach out to. He would explain everything a little later. The head told the guy with a smile that he must be joking. It wasn't that they didn't want to give him what he wanted, they just didn't have that kind of supply. The elder also smiled, asking that maybe he was doing something different. Zhang said to then have them help him find training to reach the 9th rank. He would not limit them. The 7 more, the better. The man replied that it was simple. They will do everything, but it will take them 3 days to do it. Zhang agreed. The next day came, in the Xuanyuan poison hall. 2 men approached the gate. The guard from the wall asked, who dared to invade the poison hall? The elder bowed, saying that he was the 3rd-ranked beastmaster, Elder Wei Yu Qing. He came to see a friend. The guard, who had a bandage over his face, asked who from the poison hall he was looking for. The guy next to him takes off his cloak, saying that they are here to see Gu Mu. He asked to call him if he was here. It was Sun Qian. The guard asked in surprise that they wanted the head of Gu Mu Hall. The elder and the boy were surprised to hear this. Wei Yu thought to himself, what is going on here? The head of the beast hall asked him to follow the guy to find fellow Master Zhang. He thought it was just one of the many poison masters. Who would have thought that it was the head of the poison hall? The guard jumped down from the wall, asking if he could find out the reason for such an unexpected visit. And Sun Qian nervously thought about why he had come down in the first place. Then he told himself that there was no need to panic. He had already served the Lord for so long. What had he not seen? Just the head of the poison hall. It would be all right. The guy asked with a smile, tell the person that Uncle Sun Qian is here. Have him come out as soon as possible. And Wei Yu shockedly thought, what uncle? What is going on here? The day before, Zhang had said that this Gu Mu was a follower of his teacher's disciple. That is something like his nephew. He asked Manager Sun to go and see him. He has some business to attend to and can't leave for the time being. The lad rejoiced, replying that he had served the Lord for so long. Even though he may not be his equal, he can help the young master. If he is a follower of the master's disciple, he is his elder. The boy thought about the fact that as his elder, he should take care of him and go to his aid. In addition, he would have to show him proper respect, shake good wine, and feed him. Zhang awkwardly added that the poison hall was a very unsafe place, so he would give Sun Qian some true qi so that nothing terrible would happen to him if someone still decided to poison him. Handing over the guy's key, Zhang thought about the fact that Sun Qian with his temperament would definitely find trouble, so there should be at least a small concentration of true Heaven's Path Qi in his body, which would help dissolve rank 3 poisons that didn't exceed rank 3. The manager thanked cheerfully. Head Z said that the poison hall was very dangerous. He thought it would be better if he went there accompanied by Elder Fei. It would be much safer that way. Zhang replied with a smile that he would then ask him to contact the one on his behalf. The guards from the wall grudgingly asked, "What is this guy even talking about? He's an idiot." And the man downstairs asked, "What the hell is this nonsense? It's like signing your own sentence." And Sun Qian said to tell him to get out as soon as possible, and don't do anything stupid. Or maybe he wants little Gumu to personally deal with him. Wei Yu shockedly looked at the guy thinking, what's wrong with this manager? Is this just an amusement for him? If he continues like this, he was afraid they would stay here all day. But then a man appeared behind the guard's back and asked what's going on. Who is here? The guy turned to Poison Master Wu Shi and said just in time, "This guy came out of nowhere and claims to be Head Gu's uncle." See, I asked what uncle. Teacher never said he had any relatives. A man came forward and said that he was Wu Shi, the head of Gumu Poison Hall, his teacher. Could he find out who they were and where they were from so that he could pass the information to his teacher? Sun Qian pointed his finger at himself and said that he was his teacher's uncle, and therefore he could also call him uncle. And Wu Shi was unhappily thinking about the fact that he, as a follower of the head of the Poison Hall, had always been treated with due respect in the hall, and now this guy who just appeared out of nowhere is telling him to call him uncle. However, if he and the head are truly related, then that's how he should address him. The man decided he needed to cool down a bit, and asked what the man said about being his teacher's uncle, however. Was there any confirmation of that? The guy yelled something to the man and the man caught it. On his palm he saw his teacher's token. The man thought about how he had only seen it once, but it was indeed his teacher's badge. But why does this guy have it? Is this man really the teacher's uncle? The man bowed to the boy and asked them to wait a little while. He would report on their visit right away. In the main hall of the Hall of Poisons, Gumu bowed to the teacher and said that these were red flame lotus seeds. They would help him improve and increase the probability of attaining transcendence by 20%. The man with red hair asked, what was the one who had come here just for this? And the elder beside him, holding the box, said that he had heard that it could be very useful. The teacher and the elder smilingly thanked the man for his work. The man replied that the teacher had always been incredibly kind to him. He just wanted to return the favor. The red-haired man looked at the elder and said that since they had gotten everything, they could go. But Gumu asked the teacher, where is he in such a hurry? If he could help him in any way, he would do his best. The elder replied that the Lord wished to go to one of Xuanyuan's vassal kingdoms. They will handle it, so let him just stay here and not worry. But then Wu Shi came to them and turned to his teacher. He asked what was wrong. The man said that a man who said he was his uncle had come. Gumu asked in surprise, when did he have an uncle? His father was the only child in the family. What are you talking about? Wu Shi said he had his badge. Gumu thought to himself, had he really been sent by his mentor uncle? He said that he had only given it to one person, that mysterious uncle mentor. The elder asked who he was talking about. Gumu replied that he wanted to talk to them about it. The man asked if the teacher had a young uncle mentor. The elder hesitated and asked what was his name. Gumu replied that Sun Qian, but it might be a pseudonym. Here he couldn't be sure. Liao Xun inquired about it, but no families with that surname were found in Tianwu, so perhaps he just wants to hide his identity and is using an alias. The elder asked where he was. Gumu replied that after their paths parted on the Red Lotus Mountain, he had never seen him again. But he had given him the token before that, so it must be his nephew or disciple. The elder said that his teacher Jin Chengshui had passed away 13 years ago, but he never once told him that he had any other followers. However, if it was as he said, then he should recognize him. The young master told the elder that he was going to Tianwu just for fun, so they could postpone the trip for a couple days. Since it was about his teacher, they should find out about everything and not let the lies spread. The elder thanked the master. The elder has ordered them in. Now they'll find out if it's true. Confidently entering the hall, Sun Qian asked which one was Gumu, and Wei Yu thought about the fact that the latter was acting so cavalierly again. Where did such arrogance come from? Gumu raised his hand and said that it was him. He thought to himself, why didn't the teacher recognize him? Mr. Healer said that Uncle Mentor often tried on the personalities of others. He must have used this person's face before. The guy asked if he had already seen the token. The master wants to see him in Xuanyuan. Gumu thought about how the temperament was exactly the same as back then, but here was the strength. He asked, so why should he go there? Does he have to do something? Sun Qian said that they should do the teacher's will, not question his intentions. He would find out about everything when he was on the spot. And Wei Yu thought about what kind of person is this tamer Zhang and this manager who hasn't even reached the 6th rank. Not only is he not afraid of the head of the poison hall who is at the peak of the 9th rank, but he even allows himself to behave like this. Looking at the guy, he thought, where did this confidence come from? Yes, he came with a message from an important person, but these are poison masters after all. Should he stop him? He doesn't know what to do with him if he's about to get nailed. And the elder grudgingly asked his dear friend if he could learn his master's name. Sun Qian grudgingly asked, "What is his name? What is this even about?" "He is talking to the head of the poison hall, Gumu. How dare he interfere?" Wei Yu frightenedly thought that this was the end. He is too weak and unable to even appreciate the strength of the person in front of him. He is acting extremely reserved and hiding his energy. This person is definitely a transcendent master. He doesn't even dare to move, and yet he's allowing himself to make such remarks. And the young lord thought shockingly about how a rank 5 master allows you to socialize with such an outstanding person like this. He's not just insolent, he's crazy. The elder got angry, saying that he was the teacher of the head of Gumu Poison Hall, the 4th-ranked poison master, Jin Kunhai. The one thinks that he has no right to interfere? And Gumu fearfully asked the teacher not to get angry, and then told the guy that the guy was his teacher. Sun Qian thought about that 4th-rank poison master. Is he trying to scare him? He had seen many things in his life. Even 4th-rank Grandmaster Su didn't allow himself to make any remarks towards him, let alone raise his voice at him. This mere poison master, no matter how powerful he was no match for Master, right? The boy told himself to hold on. He mustn't embarrass him. Shivering, the guy asked, "So what if he was a 4th-ranked poison master?" Even 4-star Grandmasters Shi Sufan and Lin Yuhang treated their master with the respect he deserved. When they received them, they wouldn't even dare open their mouths, and he's saying that he's better than them. Wei Yu asked, what was the one referring to the elders from the Alliance Grandmaster Hall? And he himself thought about the fact that Shi Sufan and Lin Yuhang are quite famous 4th-rank Grandmasters. Not only are they incredibly strong, the man irritatedly pouted that as elders of the Alliance Hall of Masters in terms of status, they don't even come in as a member of the royal family of the Alliance. And now this guy is saying that these two respected people were treating the master with proper respect. Is that even possible? If this is really true, what kind of person is this master? Is he really that powerful? Sun Qian excitedly asked, what does he know them? Jin Kunhai replied that they had met. The guy awkwardly said that since he was familiar with them, he would tell him. Mr. Yang Xuan is a famous grandmaster. However, he never mentioned his rank, so he can't answer this question either. However, Grandmaster Su did mention that his strength corresponds to rank 6 and above. The elder and young master were surprised to hear this. They were thinking about the fact that the strongest Grandmaster of the Kang Alliance is a 4th-rank Peak Grandmaster. Gumu Peak Master of the 4th rank and a Master of the 6th rank. It only seems like the difference of 2 ranks isn't that big, but in reality there is a huge gulf between the two. In that case, it is no surprise that a rank 5 Peak Master dares to behave in such a manner. And Wei Yu thought in surprise that Master Zhang had been taught by some outstanding Beastmaster. But who would have thought that his teacher would turn out to be a rank 6 Grandmaster? In that case, it was understandable why he was so strong. Sun Qian already added more confidently, however, Master has always been unpredictable. This time, it's young Master Zhang who is demanding the arrival of the head of the Gu Poison Hall. Therefore, let him prepare and take more poison with him, so that he doesn't have to rush to get ready. And the guy thought to himself that they were obviously shocked. Who is this Master Yang? An incredible rank 6 Grandmaster. As his manager, he has to show his character. If he can't deal with a couple of petty bipeds, how is he going to handle more serious errands in the future? Jin Kunai mentally asked his master if he was telling the truth. The guy replied that he was speaking quite confidently. It didn't seem like he was lying. He is afraid. This Groundmaster Yang really isn't that simple. The guy added, however, it's pretty easy to find out if all of this is true or not. They're going to Xuanyuan, right? They'll be stopping by Tianwu on the way. That's when they'll be able to check. If his master is indeed a rank 6 Grandmaster, it would be beneficial to befriend him. It would be reasonable and could serve a great service. Jin Kunai said that they would like to go with them if it was okay with them. The guy replied that of course they could keep them company. But don't they need to prepare poisons and such? Everything they need is already in the spatial ring. Zhang exhaled. Holding the vial of blood in his hand, he thought about how the training seemed to be going his way. It was just that the blood was incredibly effective. What a pity. The strength only increased by 35,000 din. He had gotten 30 drops in total, with only 7 left after the training. He should think about where else to use it. Looking at the vial, he decided that he would give 3 to Yuan Tao to help him awaken the soulmate, and another 4 could be given to the beast. But then someone knocked on his door. Zhang said to come out. It was Zi Junchen, who thanked the guy for waiting. He reported that he had collected all the books that the guy had asked for. They are in the spatial ring. Zhang gave his thanks. Taking the ring, he said that was what he needed right now. He asked how the taming of the Beast of Nightmares was going. The man replied that his wounds were slowly healing. He was no longer as unruly as before. The man bowed, saying he should thank him for it. Zhang said he shouldn't. The man asked him to continue. He dare not detain him any longer. The guy thanked again. Clutching the ring, he thought about the fact that the books were finally here. He would see if he could get any further. The door to the room opened. Mo Yu walked in and asked the one still practicing. And Zhang asked, what's wrong? Did you manage to find out anything? The girl replied that yes, there was something. She reported that Ding Mu had returned to Xuanyuan and hid in the Grandmaster Hall. Zhang said that was what was bothering him. He thought that just as he thought, if one went against a titled kingdom with the biggest obstacle being not the kingdom itself, but the Grandmaster Hall. The girl added that the head of the Grandmaster Hall, Luo Ganhong, has recently become incredibly close to the royal family. He is also a close friend of the family, so he is going to act as a mediator. Zhang Huang clenched his fist, saying that if they left it like this, how would they then look into Lu Chun's eyes? He got angry, said he would kill that Ding Mu. But the princess excitedly added that she had more news, not good news. The boy asked what it was about. Mo Yu reported that King Xuanyuan had already announced his willingness to hand over his title to Ding Mu. Zhang thought in surprise that it was quite difficult to kill a crown prince, but with the status of a renowned grandmaster, it was more than solvable. But to kill the king, if he tried to kill him, there would be unrest in the kingdom. Zhang grinned, realizing that it seemed like the man had prepared himself quite well. He let out his power, thinking about the fact that even if that one becomes king, who cares? So what if the Grandmaster Hall is on his side? Those who dared to injure his students would feel his hatred firsthand. Zhang asked furiously, "When is the ceremony going to take place?" The princess replied that she was today, and when the boy went forward she asked him what he was going to do. Does he want to disrupt the coronation? The girl asked, what about his power? He did say he wouldn't go there until he reached the peak of rank 9, right? That's reckless. But in the next instant, a wave of fire enveloped the guy and he went to the peak of rank 9. He said that he had already reached it. Covering her mouth with her hand, Mo Yu thought in surprise that just 4 days ago he was only at the peak of the 8th rank, but now he had reached the peak of the 9th rank. This is the 9th rank after all. Many masters spend their entire lives striving to break through but never reach their goal, and here in just 4 days. What did he do to achieve this? It's unbelievable. As she followed the guy out, she thought that back then it was not at all surprising that Zhao Yao and the others were not surprised by his words, that he would be able to reach rank 9 quickly. Now she could say that it wasn't an exaggeration. She shouted to the guy to wait, she would go as well. But Zhang Huang said that she was too weak, let her stay with Zhao Yao and the rest. But this time a bloody battle can't be avoided. He can take care of himself but not the others. But Mo Yu said that she's a grandmaster, and also the princess of Tianwu. If she just watched from the sidelines they wouldn't dare to touch her. That's when Zhang's flying beast came to them. The guy said okay, she would have to stay by his side. If they feel she is in danger, have her fly away immediately. The girl agreed. The men talked about how today was Prince Dingmu's coronation ceremony, a big day for all of them. With such a man at the head of Xuanyuan, new accomplishments await. He is only 32 years old, but he is already a rank 3 formation master and also a rank 9 master. In all these years, Xuanyuan had yet to see a similar person. With such potential, it would only take a few years for him to reach peak rank 9 and even become a half-transcendent mortal. His Highness Dingmu had always been a role model for them. Someone said that they heard that the ceremony would be held in the main square. Gumu told the gentleman that this is the Xuanyuan state. Jin Kunhai said that the layout is quite interesting. They even have a hidden formation. Gumu said that the Xuanyuan royal family specializes in formations. All the past kings were excellent masters in this field, especially the Dingmu principal. He is the truest genius. And Sun Qian asked unhappily, what genius? This Dingmu had insulted young master, he wouldn't have long to live. And speaking of true geniuses, here young master has no equal. Gumu asked that is he really that strong? The manager proudly replied that of course he was. He is not yet 20, but he is already a 3rd-rank calligrapher and painter, a 2nd-rank grandmaster, and a 3rd-rank tamer. The guy added that the one was also the chairman of the Alliance's physician guild. He is just an incredible person. How can they even be compared to this Dingmu? And the young master asked that he was from Tianwu, right? So how did he manage to become the chairman of the Alliance Doctors Guild? Sun Qian replied that the young master was not an easy person. He answered all the questions about diseases and their treatment that were asked by the masters from the Alliance Physicians Guild. He also dealt with the past chairman of the Alliance Physicians Guild. They were shocked and offered him the position. The guy asked that the young master's name was Zhang Huang, but he had heard that the famous doctor who was able to cure even incurable diseases was called Liu Cheng. The manager replied that it was the young master's nickname. He used it when he took the test for the 2nd-rank grandmaster. The guy asked that Zhang Huang is Liu Cheng, his young master. Sun Qian replied that was correct. The guy asked that since he was a doctor, why did he choose to work with poisons? Complete opposites. Doctors save others, only truly good people can do that. But poison masters are cold-blooded and make poisons that kill people. His master can't have a split personality, can he? Sun Qian replied that the young master was incredibly talented, so it was not strange that he had decided to learn 2 contradictory professions. He is very friendly and good-natured, and will never get into a fight first. The guy added that he knows how poisons work and knows how to use them, but he would never use them to the detriment of others. On the contrary, whatever he does, He is always on the side of reason, and treats the others with due respect. The man thought about who would have thought that one was such a great man. What kind of strength would one have to reach such a level? But then they heard a shout that Zhang Huang was here. Let Dingmu come out and face his death. The crowd said that something was going on there. The men turned that way, thinking about what it means to always be on the side of reason, and treat others with the respect they deserve. Sounds like he's getting in to kill a member of the royal family. Just then, a man ran up to the manager and asked, "Is it Master Zhang? What is going on? He just flew in. Why does he want to kill the prince?" And the guy replied, "That's what they came here for." Sun Qian frowned, thinking that it seemed that the young master had no intention of waiting any longer. Hall Head Luo asked Dingmu that this was the grandmaster who wanted to kill him. The guy awkwardly replied that yes, it's just a misunderstanding. He hopes that brother Luo will help him. Luo Ganhong said that one was only a second-rank grandmaster. He ordered Bai Cheng to go and told him not to interfere. If he continued to insist, he could use brute force. The man obeyed. The head of the audience asked the prince what was it about a man like him that scared him so much that he had been hiding all this time. The prince laughed awkwardly, saying it was his mistake, and Sam irritatedly thought about the fact that just one move, and Liang Qingming and Lin Lun were killed on the spot. That was why he had run away. He thought that he would ask his teacher Yang to help him, but he came all alone. Head Luo said that he went here instead of seeking support from the Grandmaster Hall. Going against those who are stronger than you is unwise and disrespectful. To be a subject of the kingdom, but to go against the king. Unwise, they are disrespectful and a show of disloyalty to their king. It's more than enough to strip him of his title of Grandmaster. Bai Cheng, greeting the flying beast, said that Prince Dingmu's coronation ceremony was about to take place. Let him not interfere. Let him leave now so he can go unpunished. Otherwise he will have to use force. But Zhang Huang replied that he would leave when he killed Dingmu. The man said that he was the third-ranked Grandmaster of Bai Cheng. He must know the rules, respect his master, and obey the highest-ranking Grandmasters. Is he going to break them? Meanwhile, Zhang jumped off the beast. He told the man in a grim voice to get out, but the man, releasing his power, said he was finished. Throwing himself into the attack, Bai Cheng said that he was only a second-ranked Grandmaster, and dared to be rude to him. Head Luo said that one made Grandmaster Bai angry. He's afraid they won't even have to strip him of his title. He will just die. But the next instant there was an explosion. While in the field of smoke, holding the man by his shirt, Zhang Huang gloomily said that anyone who was not related to this was better off staying away. He lifted the unconscious man with one hand. Seeing this, Luo Ganghong shockingly thought to himself that person did this in an instant. Impossible. Did the head tell the prince that he was hiding something? Is this person really a second-rank Grandmaster? Dingmu fearfully replied that he knew almost nothing about him, but he had just recently received his second-rank Grandmaster badge. Head Luo asked, just recently? He thought about how a Grandmaster who had only reached the second rank could be so strong. One of the guards shouted to protect His Highness. A huge crowd of troops with spears lined up in front of Zhang. Dingmu shouted to get rid of him, but Luo Ganhong gloomily said that there was no need to rush into it. He would talk to him. Perhaps it would be possible to resolve things peacefully. Leaving the balcony, the head told the prince to go ahead with the ceremony and finish everything as soon as possible. Once he had the title of king and the Jasper seal, things would be much easier. That way he would have a better reason to side with him. The boy replied that he understood. He gave orders to get everything ready for the ceremony sooner rather than later. And Head Luo thought about how he couldn't blame him. He owed a debt to the Xuanyuan kingdom. Since the matter had gotten to this scale, there was nothing that could be done about it. The man told the guards to get out of the way. When you were parted, the man asked that he must be Grandmaster Zhang Huang. He is the head of the Xuanyuan Grandmaster set, Luo Ganhong. The man added that he didn't know what happened between him and Dingmu, but it was better to resolve everything peacefully since they were Grandmasters. He is here as a mediator. He suggested to end it all quickly. Let him just tell him what he wants as compensation. They will prepare everything. But Zhang reiterated once again that he wanted Dingmu. Only then will he leave this place. The man said that Dingmu is the crown prince of Xuanyuan Kingdom. He is also about to become the king. If he kills him, there will be unrest in the country and innocent people will be in a sad situation. If it reaches the Grandmaster halls, they will definitely try to stop him. Moreover, it would also affect his status as well. But Zhang approached the man, telling him to let him come. But the man said that he saw tremendous potential in him and valued young talent, so he was not going to do anything. But he should not overstep the boundary of what was allowed. Zhang angrily said that if he didn't step back, he would die. Zhang pointed his fist at the man. The man covered himself with his arms, flying backward. Splattered with blood, the man thought about the fact that it was such a powerful blow. The man realized that the man was using the power of the Great Path. He didn't even realize when he had done it. Just a perfect technique, not a single flaw. Looks like he really underestimated him. He would have to fight at full strength. He released his power, revealing that he was a semi-transcendent mortal. Crossing his arms, he used in a sweep of his fists. Jin Kunhai said that this ghost rank peak technique, The young lord thought about the fact that these were quite advanced techniques of hers with a huge amount of movements, making it almost impossible for the opponent to resist, unless one comprehended his true essence. The guy asked what should they do, should they help? Gumu replied that there was no need to hurry. The guy said that he must have already been aware of this. He probably needed Gumu to deal with the soldiers. The young master said that a second-ranked firebrand master was capable of dealing with a half-transcendent mortal in one blow. His strength and potential were astonishing. If he wanted someone to intervene, he would ask Grandmaster Yang for help. Zhang also released his strength. The head of Luo attacked the guy. Using a fast movement technique, Zhang rushed forward. Luo Ganheng wondered in wonder. How is this possible? He can sense their favor. Zhang Huang clenched his fist, intending to attack. Splattering blood again, realizing it was the end. Zhang punched the man in the stomach. He clenched his teeth furiously. As the man fell to the ground, he said that a battle between a rank 2 Grandmaster and a rank 3 Grandmaster could be considered a violation of subordination. As soon as he finished here, he would personally inform the Grandmaster Hall of what had happened. They will be judged there. Head Luo thought that if this really happened, not only would he be removed as head, but he would also be subject to a special investigation. He would become the laughing stock of the entire alliance. What did this Ding Mu do to offend this monster? And the young lord thought admiringly about the fact that he wanted to challenge the Grandmaster Hall all by himself. It didn't matter what mistakes the Grandmaster made, as long as it wasn't a betrayal of all humanity, of course. No one would be able to blame him if he solved all the problems with the Grandmaster Hall. This Zhang Huang is quite an interesting person. That's when people ran out of the building asking what happened. It was a prince who was dressed in ceremonial clothes. He asked what was going on. Have them stop him now. The soldiers rushed towards Zhang Huan. Jin Kunhai seemed like a bad thing. It would be a bit difficult with a full-fledged army. No matter how he was, it would be difficult to face a large, well-trained army. Gu Mu agreed with him, adding that it was indeed a problem. The young master frowned, thinking about the fact that he couldn't use poisons. Even as a grandmaster, it wasn't easy for him to decide to attack the entire kingdom as it was. If he used poison, it would be used against him by the Grandmaster Hall, probably be investigated and such. It would become a huge stain on his reputation. Wei Yu told the head of the hall, Gu Mu, that he felt he needed to act. Gu Mu agreed with him, but the young master stopped them to look carefully. Zhang Huang said that in order to excel and achieve one's goals, one must be persistent and constantly improve. He went on to say that there were 3 main things they needed to pay attention to if they wanted to break through from rank 5 to rank 6. The first was to determine one's strength. The young master thought about the fact that this was a lecture. When did he even have time to start it? But then the guy realized that's not it. He's holding back 100 soldiers just by talking. He mentally asked, is this a teaching given from above? Gu Mu asked if it would be effective in this situation. The young master replied that the teaching itself was not a strong instrument of influence, but if the speakers reached a certain high level, the effect could be impressive. He explained that Mr. Jin knew that he had been physically weak as a child, and so instead of practicing, he had engaged in reading books. He had read a great number of books, and in the most ancient books he had come across references to it. On attaining supreme mastery, the speaker is able to convey great truth to all listeners. Even if the listener is your enemy, he will not be able to recognize the master, let alone reject him. Wei Yu asked if this was against the laws of the sky. Gu Mu said that it didn't matter who his opponent was. As soon as he spoke, anyone would kneel. Does that mean that everyone who hears him one day will become his disciples? Wei Yu asked in surprise, what is Master Confucius really doing? The young master said that all the people who had ever heard his teachings unreservedly recognized him as a teacher. Even if it was his nemesis, he instantly lost all ability to resist. Legend has it that one day demons sent an army to kill him. Master Confucius was all alone, however, not at all afraid of what was coming. He simply began to speak, and after a few minutes, all the demons began to lunge at each other, unable to resist. Didn't they think that Grandmaster Zhang was doing something similar? Gu Mu asked that he meant to say that Grandmaster Zhang was now lecturing them in order to restrain them. The guy replied that yes, and then told them to watch. Most of the soldiers had already adopted the practicing posture and were doing whatever Master Zhang said. The murderous aura in the air had completely disappeared. Standing beside them, Sun Qian was also improving. Wei Yu asked, seriously, to make a breakthrough like this? The man added that breaking through from the 5th rank to the 6th rank just by listening to the teachings. Gu Mu said that even if Grandmasters were able to channel their true ki, it would take a certain amount of time to make a breakthrough to another rank. The young master thought about how long ago did Mr. Zhang start his lesson. 20 breaths? 30? 4th rank Grandmasters, let alone 3rd rank Grandmasters, were not capable of anything like this. And Ding Mu yells asking what are they doing? Let them listen to him and they kill him.